Welcome to Happy Cooking with Yvonne Douglas. Today we're gonna make some lasagna, that's right. It is so good, I think you're going to love it. It's a very easy recipe and it is so good. You're gonna just love it. Today on Happy Cooking with Yvonne Douglas, we're gonna make some delicious lasagna. And this is a really easy lasagna recipe to follow. Basically, you're gonna need 1 box of lasagna noodles, 1 pound of ground beef. You'll need a large bag of mozzarella cheese that's already shredded. You can buy mozzarella cheese and shred it yourself, but I just find it easier to buy it already shredded. And you're going to need, this is Italian style finely shredded cheeses that has mozzarella, smoked provolone, white cheddar, Romano, and Asiago cheeses in here. So I think it's gonna be really good with that. And you'll need some ricotta or ricotta. Probably, this is a large canister, so you probably need about half of this. So a medium size ricotta would be good. All right, you'll need some minced garlic, some Italian seasoning, some basil, and this is organic basil. I'm gonna be chopping that up. And salt and pepper, extra virgin olive oil, and let's get cooking. So the first thing you wanna do is cook your lasagna noodles. So I have my box of lasagna noodles here. My water is already boiled. You wanna boil your water first. And you're going to just place your lasagna noodles into the pot. I like to do it one at a time instead of just dumping it in there. Basically, you want to cook those up and just follow the instructions on the box, and that's step number 1. So my lasagna noodles are cooking, and it should take about 8 minutes or so for it to be fully cooked. I'm going to get my pound of ground beef and some extra virgin olive oil, which is right here, and I'm also going to get some minced garlic. So I'm going to put on my pan here, and I'm going to first have it on a low to medium flame, and I'm going to add just probably about a tablespoon or so of extra virgin olive oil, and I'm going to add about a little more than a teaspoon of minced garlic to that, but I want to make sure that that pan is heated up first. I'm just gonna spread my olive oil around a little bit and make sure my pan is heated up, and then I'm gonna add probably, like I said, a little bit more than a teaspoon of minced garlic. Okay, all right. And I'm just going to stir that around in my pan. And you want to cook your garlic just a little bit before you add your ground beef. Now what I'm going to be adding in my ground beef is a little bit of basil. So I have my basil here. It's already washed. I'm just going to take about, maybe just about 2 leaves. And I'm going to just chop that up. I like to kind of fold my basil a little bit and then chop it. And you also want to add just Italian seasoning, and I like to just get the Market Archer Farms or Market Pantry brand Italian seasoning right here. And my garlic is cooking up nicely, and now I'm going to add my pound of ground beef. Make sure your hands are always clean when you're cooking. And I just kind of crumble that in there. have to be anything real fancy. And then with my wooden spoon, I'm just going to kind of break that up, let that cook for a little bit in that garlic. And this is the time that I want to also add some salt and pepper. I'm gonna add a little salt and pepper to my pan here. Just a little salt. I'm not heavy on the salt. Some people like more salt, and that's fine. You could always add more salt. So I just do a little bit of pepper. Let that cook just a little bit up before I add my Italian seasoning and my basil to the meat. I'm gonna put the flame up just a little bit now. It needs to be on a medium flame. Okay, so we'll cook that up and then we're gonna add our spices to it. Can't wait. Okay, so one thing while you're cooking your or browning your ground beef, this is the time you probably want to also stir your lasagna noodles. So make sure those are stirred. And like I said, the lasagna noodles should take about 8 minutes or so for it to cook. And it looks like my ground beef, it looks like it is ready for some Italian seasoning. So I'm gonna get my Italian seasoning here. And I'm just gonna coat the top. That's how I do it. Like I said, I'm usually informal with my measurements. I just always went by what tastes good. And so, like I said, just coat the top, sprinkle the top with your Italian seasoning. And it already has the salt and pepper. And you want to brown it. And when it's getting, I'm gonna add now my basil. I remember that was about 2 basil leaves cut up. I think that should be appropriate. Looks good. And I'm gonna brown this up. And another thing while this is all cooking, so you have your lasagna noodles, you have your ground beef, you also want to be cooking your sauce. If you want to buy some store-bought sauce, that's okay, like Barilla or something like that. I make my own sauce. And basically I get a large can of tomato sauce, or you can use like maybe 2 or 3 cans of the small ones. And I add some Italian seasoning in there. I add garlic, salt and pepper, of course, and add some Italian cheese. Usually add some Parmesan cheese to my sauce. And then I cook that up. My sauce right here is pretty much done. And so you definitely want to make sure that you're doing that while you're cooking, browning your ground beef and also cooking your lasagna noodles. So keep that in mind, and we'll be back. Okay, so I want to check on my ground beef here. I'm going to remove the lid. I did have the lid on it for a couple of minutes, and it's looking really good. Wow, smells fantastic. All right. So I have my ground beef. It's browned. I'm gonna cook this probably another minute or 2. I'm gonna put the cover back on it. And my lasagna noodles are done, and it was 8 minutes for my lasagna noodles. And let's see if I can move the camera here. And my sauce right here. Ooh, my sauce looks really good. Let's taste it. Yum. Oh gosh, that's good. I'm telling you, this is gonna be really delicious lasagna. I hope you try it. All right, we'll be back. Okay, so we're back, and basically you need a large bowl, and I'm going to get probably around 3 handfuls of the mozzarella cheese that has been shredded. That's about 3 handfuls. We're going to add some of our Italian style cheese that's been shredded that has, like I said, has mozzarella, smoked provolone, white cheddar, and Asiago cheese, and Romano. Don't forget Romano. So I'm going to use probably about half this bag, and this is a probably about a cup of that. All right, and I'm also going to add some ricotta and to my cheese mixture. I'm going to use probably half of this ricotta. So I'm going to put 1, 2, 3, probably 3, I'll make it 4 large spoonfuls. And I'm going to kind of mix this up, just with a spoon, just mix it up a little bit. And then we're gonna get our ground beef and we're gonna put it all together, so stay tuned. Okay, so we're back. So we have all our cheeses in here. Yum, yum, yum. I'm gonna add now my ground beef to this bowl. Let me get my wooden spoon, actually wooden fork. And I'm just going to add that to my cheese mixture. Yum, it smells so good, guys. All right, and I'm gonna mix this up. Let me take my spoon out of here. Mix that up with my wooden fork. Now, I think I added 4 tablespoons of this. I'm gonna add 1 more. You know, if you have a little bit more cheese, that's okay. I'm adding it a little bit more because I can see that I didn't use about half of this, because this is the large one. So you just want really 1 medium size ricotta or ricotta. Okay, yeah, that looks more like it. And this is when I'm also going to add some more spices. I'm gonna add a little bit more pepper, a little more seasoning here, just a little bit salt. And I'm also going to add some more, a little more Italian seasoning, just a little bit. Stir that up. Yum. And then we're gonna put it all together, so stay tuned. Okay, so we're gonna put our lasagna together. Now, the way I like to do it, I like to first start with my sauce. So I'm gonna get my sauce here, and I'm going to add it to the bottom, and I'm just going to cover the bottom with sauce. And like I said, your sauce can be homemade, or if you want to do store-bought sauce, that's okay too. All right, so you want to make sure the bottom is covered. Very good. And then I'm going to get my lasagna noodles. And look how nicely they are made. I'm going to place them, do a layer of noodles at the bottom. And by the way, I already preheated my oven up to 375 degrees, so you want to make sure you do that too. So I got my noodles there. Now I'm going to get my sauce again. Add a little bit of sauce going down the noodles. Okay, I don't like dry lasagna. So this is gonna be very moist, yummy yum. And then I'm gonna add my mixture. And I'm just gonna do a couple of glops. Glop, glop of the cheese. Oh, and the meat, yum. And how thick you wanna have it is really up to you. I'm gonna have a couple of layers here, so I'm going to kind of thin it out a little bit. I don't want my layers to be too thick. Looks so good and smells fantastic too. All right, so now I have that. Now I'm gonna add some more noodles. Now you can do your noodles crisscross, or you can have them all going the same way. For this right here, I'm doing the same way. The same direction, I should say. I'm gonna add some more sauce. Going down the noodles. God, my mouth is watering. It really is. I love Italian food. It is one of my favorites. Gonna add some more mixture here. You want to make sure that when you place your lasagna down or your mixture, that you get all corners. You don't want to skimp and leave any areas that doesn't have enough of the cheese and the ground beef mixture. Yum. Okay, we're gonna add one more layer of noodles. And once again, I'm doing it in the same direction. Oh, this noodle broke. So this one, I'm not gonna use this noodle because it doesn't look pretty. So I'm just gonna put it over here for now. So basically this only needs, I think I made 12. This only needs really nine noodles. I'm gonna put my sauce, the rest of my sauce on top. Just going to drizzle it. Now remember, if you make your own sauce, you probably want to use a large can of tomato sauce, or maybe about 3 small ones. Wow, this looks so good, guys. And it's really easy to make. It's not hard at all. Excellent. I don't want to waste any of that sauce. Let me get some more sauce here. There we go. Get all that sauce out. And now I want to sprinkle it just with some more cheese. I'm going to sprinkle it first with the Italian mix. And don't forget, the Italian mix does have the mozzarella in it too. And you'll probably use this whole bag. This was a 2-cup bag. If you have a little left over, you can just use it for something else. Okay, and now I'm gonna add just a little bit more mozzarella, sprinkle it through, because when it bakes, it's gonna have such a nice color. Oh. With that mozzarella cheese, or mozzarella, depending on where you come from in the country. All right, excellent. So I got my lasagna all ready. It's all ready to go. I'm gonna put it in the oven, and I'm going to put it in a 375-degree oven and bake it for about 30 minutes. So stay tuned for the final result. Okay, so we're back. We're going to check on our lasagna. It's been about 30 minutes, see if it's ready, and then we're gonna give it a good taste test. So let's see if it's ready. Oh yeah, it looks really good. Fantastic. Oh wow, look at that. Look at that lasagna, oh my gosh. That looks so good. Perfect. It's the perfect color. Oh, I love it. Oh my gosh, that looks so good. Okay, so let me get a spatula. Probably want to use a metal spatula for this. And I'm going to get my knife and I'm going to take a little piece so I can give it a good taste test. Oh wow, that looks so good. Oh yeah. Yum. Fantastic. Now if you wait, let it cool a little bit first before you cut it, your layers will look a lot better, but I'm just dying to taste it, so. All right. Take a little bite. Oh my God. Oh wow. Excellent. Very good. I love it. I hope you give it a shot and happy cooking. Bye-bye.